And this is a video on Iowa unemployment compensation. This is a non-for-profit video. It's not sanctioned by the state of Iowa nor by Iowa Workforce Development. It's all volunteer time. This is legal information, not legal advice. And what I'm going to talk about today is how to research a unemployment appeal decisions written by administrative law judges. And this is a good video both if you're representing yourself or even if you're a lawyer who has never worked on an unemployment case before. A fast way to get started to research your case and come up on the law. Now, first you go to iowaworkforce.org, IOWAWORKFORCE.org, and once you get to that page, then you need to navigate down to the to unemployment insurance. And when you hit that unemployment insurance, you're going to hit a pop-up that gives you a number of selections. Go right on that pop-up and find UI appeals. Unemployment insurance appeals is right there. Click on that to move to the unemployment insurance department. Now on this page you're going to find a lot of good information, and whether you be a lawyer or a claimant, either one. And as I've said in other videos, most people go without representation. Probably 95 to 98% of participants in unemployment claims, not just hearings but claims overall, have no help from or assistance from a lawyer. The system is set up so that you don't really need to have a lawyer. But if you can get a lawyer, that's a good thing, and go ahead and do so. But here's some things you can take a look at. There's on this unemployment insurance appeals page, you have frequently asked questions, and it helps you prepare your case. And there's a great little tutorial to get you started. There's an outline of other issues. Let's take a look at the issues. And I think this is a good one because most people have one of these issues, not all of them. So you have 11 different issues you can look at here. If you have a discharge, a quit, or a refusal of work, it's a good place to start to give you some information to start preparing your case. Terms and definitions, there's in-person hearing schedule. Now the 2011 is about over, so you won't be able to see much there, but it tells you when we do hearings in certain venues and shows you how much delay you'll have if you want to change to an in-person hearing. There's also a form for a notice of appeal if you want to appeal your case and need a form, which you really don't need a form. You just need to write on a piece of paper, I appeal. You may need, for that, you may want to have reasons if you're asking for a rehearing. But what we're going to do is go to the very last one called Iowa Unemployment Insurance Appeals Decisions. And we're going to move to that page because that is an archive of unemployment decisions written by administrative law judges. There are several ways you can go at this research. You have the year 2011, where there's already been 16,000 decisions issued during the 2011 as of the making of this video, which is October. And you can click on that and just take a look and see what kind of decisions they are. And if you want to look around, see what happened in the month of October, or the last month, you can take a look and see what the issue is. Right here you'll have a file number, and I want you to look closely at this file number, and you might not be able to see it with this particular video, but the file number shows the last part of it has a T. When you see a T on it, you know that that means it was a telephone hearing. If there's no T, then it was an in-person hearing. The S and W indicates the administrative law judge that did the hearing. Like for this one, SW shows your judge. Here's an AT. A is your judge. And you go down to MTM is your judge, all by telephone. So if you get a hearing notice, you'll have an appeal number. And you look at the last part of that appeal number, and you know that the T doesn't mean anything other than it's a telephone hearing. But the letter before that will tell you who your administrative law judge will probably be. There's not a guarantee on that, because these cases do get switched around occasionally, but about a 95% chance you're going to have that particular judge at your hearing. And so if you want to research specific to the judge that you're getting assigned to, then here's one way to do it. Now, here is, you go over here and you look, and it'll usually tell you what the decision type. There's discharges, there's quits, there's able and available issues, on down, and you can see, and there's also the other issues, which pull in a whole bunch of other different types of legal issues. Nevertheless, you could pick out your judge. If you were looking for Judge A, you could pick out Judge A and try to find misconduct hearings for Judge A, for discharge hearings for Judge A, if you want to kind of get a feel for how that judge writes their decisions and how they handle cases. And it's not a bad way to go. But let's go back and get back to this first page again. And what I'm going to do is show how you can do a search. And we're in the year 2011, and you can go back to other years if you want. But let's go ahead and do a search for misconduct. So you type the word misconduct into this search box, and you click the little magnifying glass to do your search. And then you wait for the server to catch up and bring you up cases that concern misconduct. Now you have your searches that deal with misconduct, and it has 17,000 searches that came up. And for each one of these, you can have a little summary here, and you might be able to find some information that would push you to one of these cases versus another. Let's just take our first one. This is going to be in a PDF format, and you can see that it's a discharge for misconduct case. The issue is clearly stated, discharge for misconduct, and then it has a very basic statement of what happened and the facts on this, talking about someone who was sick, and then it comes down to the law. And this is where you probably should start. If you have a quit or a discharge or an able and available issue, whatever your issue is, you want to start right here and read this so you understand the basic elements of your particular case. For example, on misconduct, it's 96.5-2A, and tells you why you get disqualified for benefits. And then it goes on to give a definition of misconduct. And then it talks about past acts of misconduct, that you have to have a current act, and the burden of proof. So it gives you a real good summary in about 3 or 4 paragraphs of what your particular legal issue is. And you go through 2 or 3 of these, and you're going to find that almost every administrative law judge uses the same language for that particular issue, and you'll have a basic understanding of your case. And then you can go on to refine it by reading the findings of fact to have a better understanding of how the administrative law judge deals with that particular fact pattern. And that's pretty much how you do it. And you can just wander around in here all day long finding all kinds of interesting cases that are pertinent to your facts that you're going to have to deal with. And I think that's about what you need to do if you're going to do some legal research. And as I said, this is a great place to start on your issues. Now, one thing I want to note, most cases that have a separation issue where someone lost their job will have 2 issues. It'll be a discharge or a quit. And we put 2 issues on all of those cases for good reason, because sometimes it isn't clear at the time of setting the case for hearing whether it was a quit case or it was a layoff or it was a firing. And you have to have full notice for a due process hearing. So you have to give notice of both issues so you can adjudicate either issue to make a determination of whether someone should get benefits. And that is about what I want to tell you for legal research. This is a good place for you to start. Just remember, go to iowaworkforce.org and then navigate to unemployment insurance and then UI appeals, and then you get into your decisions. And that's the way it starts. So here we are at the Iowa Unemployment Insurance Appeals. This bottom, I'll back up to the next page, and here we are at the Iowa Workforce page. We click on unemployment insurance, back down to unemployment appeals information, and there you are again, bottom one to appeals, and you're right back to the page where you do your research. That is it for doing research for administrative law judge decisions. I wish you the best on your unemployment claim.